what if Rengoku killed Akaza and survived in the Mugen Train? Will the story of the Demon Slayer be completely different? Kyujuro Rengoku, the Flame Hashira, was one of the most powerful Demon Slayers in the Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba universe. He was also one of the most beloved characters, and his death in the Mugen Train arc was a major shock to fans. However, what if Rengoku had somehow managed to kill Akaza and survive? How would this have changed the story of the anime? If Rengoku had killed Akaza, it would have had a major impact on the story. For one, it would have meant that the Demon Slayer Corps wouldn't have lost one of its most powerful members. However, it would also have meant that the Demon Slayer Corps would have gained a major victory against the 12 Kizuki. Well, I found 3 different theories about how the story could continue. According to the first theory, if Rengoku had defeated and killed Akaza during the battle in the Mugen Train, it would have significantly altered Tanjiro Kamato's journey and character development as a Demon Slayer. With Rengoku surviving the encounter, Tanjiro would not have been directly impacted by the death of the Flame Pillar. Rengoku's inspirational final words to Tanjiro to not to give up and keep pushing forward despite adversity would never have been spoken. Those words profoundly affected Tanjiro, lighting a fire within him to grow stronger in order to protect others. Without that emotional catalyst from Rengoku's death, Tanjiro's motivations may have developed differently. Additionally, Tanjiro would not have inherited Rengoku's technique, the Dance of the Fire God. Learning that technique from Rengoku's spirit enabled Tanjiro to evolve his combat skills and sword techniques, making him a more formidable Demon Slayer. Under Rengoku's continued tutelage, Tanjiro may have progressed even further in his swordsmanship, but would not have had the extra drive to self-improve without Rengoku's tragic death. Rengoku's presence also could have impacted Tanjiro's relationship with the other pillars. Rengoku believed in Tanjiro's potential despite his inexperience, defending him from dismissal by the other pillars. If Rengoku lived, he may have further aided Tanjiro's standing among the Demon Slayer ranks. However, Tanjiro may also have become overly reliant on Rengoku's guidance, stunting his independence. As per this theory, if Rengoku had survived, Tanjiro might have lost the emotional catalyst that drove his development as a Demon Slayer, but would have not lost a loving colleague. Rengoku's death and final words inspired Tanjiro to keep striving to improve. Without that, Tanjiro's motivations and growth may have progressed very differently. Now that's just one of the 3 other possibilities the story could have continued if Rengoku killed Akaza and survived in the Mugen Train. The second theory talks about the vital role Rengoku could have played in important battles against demons, such as Infinity Castle. In the second theory, if Rengoku had survived his battle with Akaza on the Mugen Train, he would have been invaluable in preparing Tanjiro, Inosuke, Zenitsu, and the other Demon Slayers for the confrontation with demons such as at Infinity Castle. Rengoku's vast experience fighting the Upper Moons would have allowed him to provide very specific advice and training to the other Demon Slayers. For example, he could have broken down the nonsense of Akaza's compass needle fighting style for Tanjiro. After analyzing all of Akaza's battle patterns and techniques, Rengoku could have run intensive drills with Tanjiro on how to disrupt Akaza's rhythms and see through his complex footwork. This specialized training could have enabled Tanjiro to anticipate and counter Akaza's moves much faster. Similarly, Rengoku likely unlocked secrets about Kokoshibu's moon breathing style through years of observation. He could have leveraged this knowledge to train the other pillars in effective breathing techniques and sword maneuvers to counteract Kokoshibu's intricate sword skills. For instance, he may have also discerned subtle weaknesses in Kokoshibu's footwork that could be exploited by precise water-breathing forms. In addition to breaking down battle tactics, Rengoku also would have provided motivational speeches and wisdom to prepare the Demon Slayers mentally as well. Having stared death in the face many times himself, he could have offered personal anecdotes about overcoming paralyzing fear in the heat of battle through sheer willpower and belief in one's cause. Rengoku's words could have resonated deeply with insecure Demon Slayers like Zenitsu, providing the extra courage needed to tap into their full potential when the time came. Beyond the pillars, Rengoku also would have enthusiastically trained promising young talents like Kanao, Inosuke, and Genya. Through grueling yet inspiring sessions, he could have pushed them to discover new heights of focus, strength, and endurance to survive the Infinity Castle against the Upper Moons. For instance, Rengoku may have put Genya through intensive sparring to control his demonic transformations better, making him a more potent weapon against his demon foes. With his bravery and firepower at their side, Rengoku could have also turned the tide in pivotal Infinity Castle moments. For instance, he may have countered Doma's Ice Fan attack just in time to save Kanao and Inosuke. Additionally, Rengoku likely could have held his own in a lengthy battle against an Upper Moon to buy critical time for Tanjiro and the others. As per this theory, Rengoku's wealth of knowledge, motivational spirit, and raw power would have proved invaluable for training and inspiring the Demon Slayers, potentially altering the outcome at Infinity Infinity Castle, and many other wars between the Demon Slayer Corps and the demons. Now let's see what happens in theory number 3, which talks about how Rengoku could have become one of the most powerful Hashiras in the Demon Slayer Corps and could have given a very tough time to Muzan Kibutsuji. The theory number 3 says, if Flame Pillar Rengoku had defeated and killed Upper Moon 3 Akaza during their fateful encounter on the Mugen Train, it would have cemented Rengoku's reputation as one of the mightiest and most revered Hashira in the entire Demon Slayer Corps. Rengoku's victory over one of Kibutsuji Muzan's most powerful demons would also represent a massive threat to Muzan's plans and control over his minions. Rengoku's epic showdown with Akaza on the Mugen Train marked a pivotal moment that could have altered the course of the entire Demon Slayer storyline. Had Rengoku emerged victorious from that fierce battle, slashing through Akaza's flesh and beheading the Upper Moon 3, it would have sent shockwaves throughout the Demon Slayer ranks. Word of Rengoku's monumental feat defeating one of Muzan's personal elites would quickly spread, elevating Rengoku's already considerable reputation to legendary status. He would be revered by all as one of the mightiest Hashira to have ever served in the corps, possessing raw power and scale exceeding perhaps even the esteemed Water Pillar Gyuto Myoka. Rengoku's prestige and renown as a slayer would be unmatched, his name uttered with awe by both humans and demons alike. Recruits would flock to train under his guidance, motivated by the opportunity to learn from the man who felled the infamous Akaza. Even the normally reserved and composed Kagaya Yubayashiki would heap praise upon Rengoku for his achievement. Within the demon ranks, the news of Akaza's demise would be met with dread, as the Upper Moons would realize one of their mightiest had fallen to a mere human. Muzan would seethe with rage at the loss of his loyal underling, as it represented a grave threat to his plans of domination. He would ramp up efforts to create more powerful demons to replace Akaza, wary of the Hashira's growing strength. Empowered by his victory over Akaza, Rengoku would fight with amplified vigor, hungering to take down more of Muzan's vile servants. He may have even uncovered clues on the Mugen Train leading back to Muzan's whereabouts, launching raids against the Demon Lord's bases of operation. With Rengoku at the helm, the Hashira would become an even greater bane to Muzan's reign than before. The Upper Moon demons and even Muzan himself would come to fear Rengoku's prowess despite their overconfidence in their own strength. This dread would spread like wildfire throughout the demon ranks, even reaching the secluded Muzan in his secretive lairs, making him paranoid that the Hashira could actually threaten his reign. Rengoku's reputation would give the Demon Slayer Corps a potent psychological weapon, as any demons sent to engage them would already be weakened by the terror of encountering the legendary Flame Pillar who had felled one of the most powerful Upper Moons. The Corps could strategically spread fear and misinformation to manipulate their enemies, while Rengoku himself would press any foe with amplified confidence, knowing they likely trembled before him already. In this way, Rengoku's killing of Akaza would sow advantage for the Corps by making even the arrogant Muzan wary of the Pillar's growing power. By the time the final confrontation with Muzan, the fear and intimidation fostered by Rengoku's legend would lead many lesser demons to surrender or defect rather than face off against the mighty Hashira. This would isolate Muzan from much of his army, leaving him and his Upper Moon loyalists to battle the Demon Slayer Corps alone. The Corps would be emboldened and fighting at their peak with the psychological edge of their enemy's dread. Muzan would be plagued by paranoia and rage over Akaza's death at Rengoku's hands. In the end, the combined fears spreading through demon ranks along with inflated confidence among demon slayers would tip the scales in the Corps' favor, providing the critical advantage needed to defeat Muzan once and for all. Rengoku's legacy would pave the way for victory. This theory suggests that if Rengoku had defeated Akaza on the Mugen Train, it would have been terrible news for Muzan and the demons, but great news for the Demon Slayer Corps. Killing an Upper Moon would weaken Muzan's army and also hurt the morale of the other demons, making them feel more afraid and less confident. On the flip side, the Demon Slayers would be thrilled that Rengoku beat such a strong opponent. It would give them a big morale boost and make them believe they could win the final fight. Rengoku would be seen as a legend for beating an Upper Moon 1-1. With his experience and skills, Rengoku would help the Demon Slayer Corps strategize to defeat Muzan. The demons would be scared to face him again. So by surviving, Rengoku could have given the Demon Slayers a big advantage over the demoralized demons for their final showdown against Muzan. How would the battle between Rengoku and Muzan Kibutsuji look like? Well, that's the topic for another video. In the meantime, you can click here to see this other cool video. Click on it.